Good morning, friends. Cheryl here with Ink Pulp, and we're back with another art before breakfast. I hope you guys had a good little time off. I'm just cleaning out a brush here. Hang on, I'm trying to get my iPad up and going. There it is. I hope. Oh, I pulled that right out of there. That's not good. I guess that brush is done. I guess that one is done. Let's get another one. Hi. How you doing, Marie? I am trying to find the right brush here. This one looks like it had gesso in it. Oh, I'm so sorry you're going to miss. We're going to miss you. I had this that goes on here. I am doing awesome. After a little time off, I got so much done, and I have been obsessed with I've been absolutely obsessed with fussy cutting. And so, I've cut out hundreds of images, and I'm getting stuff done around the house, and my mental health is so much better. I don't feel stressed anymore. I'm just trying to clean these brushes out because I just need to order some more new ones. Yeah, I've been getting good sleep. The only thing I haven't started doing again is exercising, and I need to do that because that really, really helps. I'm a huge advocate of lots of good exercise. Okay. How are you doing? We're going to do something really fun today. We did a little bit of this several months ago, but we're going to do it again. Oh, I've been working on the, what did I do with it? Let's see where I put it. I've been working on that doodle page a little bit more. And I've got some things done, but I don't see it handy. I'll show it later. And then, I did this yesterday. I was just playing, and I got out some images that I had. I used my last one of these gals that I just cut out. Had a little truck and some, I don't know, I was just playing. So I got that done yesterday. Hi, Irma. Hello. Hello, boo. My brother's in the house. Why are you on his small shop? I thought you was the Bourbon University. All right, so we're going to have some fun today because I got to make some more earrings for my upcoming show. So, let's see. I did this once before, and the earrings, I only made like 2 pair of them, and they sold out immediately. So I thought, well, this is something I can do online. I'm just putting some rubbing alcohol on these to clean them off. I'm just doing the fronts because I can sand the back of them. And I have these, well, hi, Caroline. I have these offcuts from my night lights. These are little extra pieces that I get when I cut the copper down. All right. See you next week, Marie. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy work. Oh, if you haven't already gone yet, Marie, I made cabbage steaks last night. Oh my gosh, it was some of the best food I've had in a long time. All right. I'm gonna leave those little ones till later. So what I'm gonna do on these is I'm gonna put a layer of gesso, and then I'm gonna heat it till it kind of bubbles. And I'm gonna do these well, I can do all the gessos at once, but the actual earrings. Good morning, Mimi. How are you, my dear? Put a little gesso in this bowl. The gesso I can put on all at once, but then when I start actually coloring them, I need to do them two at a time because I have to get them somewhat similar for pairs. All right, let's just spread these out. Small shop is my brother Bill. In case you don't know, he's coming to hang out with us. He's retiling his bathroom, and brother Bill lives in Utah for right now. He's looking to get out of there, but I tried to tell him he needs to come and do mine, but I don't think I convinced him yet. Yeah, he was on the job and fell from a ladder. I don't know if there was a malfunction. I don't remember if there was a malfunction with the ladder or he just was, working and fell or what. But his foot got caught between the two of the rungs of the ladder and he ended up tearing his Achilles tendon. So he's off work. He's my baby brother. Well, I hit 65. He just hit the 60-year mark. Yeah, he's been in a couple of times since he's kind of laid up. I said, oh, you ought to come and watch us in the mornings. You got nothing else really to do. Although I was curious how you're doing the tile in there, little brother, if your foot's still all jacked up. And I'm probably getting some on the back, but I'll be sanding the back of them anyway, so that'll come right off. Yeah, he did it up well. So he's laid up. He can't go back to work for a while because he does, he's a general contractor and he does a lot of installation and remodeling projects like kitchens and baths and stuff like that. And so he can't be at work. It's just a little bit too active. Yeah, I get creative every once in a while. All right, let's kind of dry these up a little. I'm not going to bubble them just yet because I want to put one more coat on them. And this is just plain gesso. Yeah, but when I say remodeling, I'm talking about tearing out cabinets, tearing out countertops, moving, sinks around to another spot in the room and like when he remodels, he remodels. He'll gut a kitchen and then put it all back together again. So if anybody lives in Down to the Studs, oh, you like to do that too. Well, there you go, Bill. I have a viewer who could come and help you. So we have creativity in our family, and it's not just me. Oh, well, there you go. Interior decorator. That's what I need. Somebody to come in and tell me how to decorate. So we're going to put down this gesso and bubble it up a little bit. And then I'm going to put some distress glazes on. Hey guys, don't forget to thumbs up. So did you guys miss me while I was gone? I missed you guys, and I thought, oh, I shouldn't have taken a break. But then I looked at how good I was feeling, and why don't they like you? Because you take business away? All right. You were looking yesterday. Mama Juju left a comment on one of my older ABBs, and she said, I had to come watch the replay. I was needing my ABB fix. So, Bill, I don't know if you had heard, but I was just getting really stressed out. In fact, I was going to call you and talk to you about it, but I didn't. I was just getting really stressed out, and without going into it in depth, because I don't want to start that conversation, but just the whole political thing was getting to me, and I don't know. I just decided to cut back, and plus my garden, I've got so many tomatoes out in my garden. I got to get them in and dealt with, and peppers, and then I have my big show coming up. So for all those reasons, I decided to take some time off from here. I know that about the ideas. All right. There's the gesso. I'm going to set this aside, but what I am going to do is take a paper towel and wet it real good. Oh, I know, but I can't help it. Can't help it. But anyway, I don't want to go into talking about that. That'll just upset me. Oh, by the way, that woman in Germany never did get in touch with me about her Happy Mail for August. So I'm going to send it to Big Mama. All right. So there's our little copper pieces. And I'm just going to go along here. Look at my Super Duty heat gun here, Brother Bill. Oh, look at that bubble. I like playing with heat and fire. Don't have enough on here to get it to bubble really good, but it will when we put on the other layers. So I'll tell you guys a story about fire and heat. You know how much I love to play with heat and burn up my laces and stuff. I think I just figured out how I got that. And Bill, you'll know this story and you'll understand. So when we were little, my dad was stationed in Panama, and I was about 11 and Bill was about 6. And we were staying in Army quarters. And each of the bedrooms had 2 single beds in it. So we each had, 2 beds in our bedroom. And we used to make forts out of it. You know where I'm going with this story, Bill? We liked to make forts, and we would take a blanket and spread it across. We'd move the 2 beds together, spread a blanket across them, and then, make a little fort underneath. And we'd play little forts. Well, we couldn't get the blanket to stay up, and so we were looking for things to set on it to keep the blanket to stay up on the one side of the bed. It kept falling down and collapsing our fort. So, oh no, she's had the flu bug. That's not good. And so I had on the edge of, or on my table on the side of one of the beds, I had or we had, I don't remember if it was in Bill's room or in my room. We had a lamp, a little light, bedside lamp. Those are still really hot. I'm going to put some more because I want them to bubble a little bit more. So I took that lamp and it was on. I didn't unplug it or anything. I just set it up, with the base on the bed. And so I'm just going to dab some glue on here. You know where I'm going with this, Bill. And we got to playing in our fort. Started smelling something burning. That lamp had fallen over, and I had taken the lampshade off so it gave maximum light for us. And that light bulb had burned into the bedding and down into the mattress. Good thing we didn't light the whole damn house on fire. So, of course I did. I was good at that. Now this one, I don't know. I think we both took the hit for this one. I'll tell a story about another one I blamed on him, but anyway, we burned through a big old hole in that mattress, and the problem was that we were in Panama, so there was no running down to the local bed shop and buying a new mattress. Dad had to go through the Army to replace it, so he, I guess, took a little bit of flack for that. But maybe that was the beginning of me liking to burn things up. I don't know. I had forgotten about that story till just now. Well, I told you guys last time about starting a little campfire underneath our house in Hawaii that was solid wood and had a little crawl space underneath it. My friend Dolly and I went down there and built a little campfire. That was stupid. So maybe I have, not seriously, but I don't know, Bill. Have I always had an issue with fire? Mimi wants to know. Because I get out that heat gun and I put some lace down or material or paper and I burn holes in it for a distressed look. Oh, I know you are. But now, one thing I do have to admit, I have to give my little brother some credit and I have to own up to it. And that is that since he was my little brother, I always did like to experiment and do stuff. And so I did tend to, I can think of 3 instances off the top of my head. He can probably think of more. But one time we were outside, this was in Panama too, and we were out playing around in the carport, us and some other kids. And I wanted carrots and salt. I used to like to put salt on my carrots. So I told Bill, go in the house and get some carrot. Oh no, I went in and got the carrots, and we had the carrots, but I didn't get the salt. So I said, go in and get some salt for us so we can have it with our carrots. And so he did, obedient little brother he was, he did. And then it came, oh yeah, I do use the torch on the jewelry all the time. Fire can do some amazing things. Hey, Cheryl, are you still there? Brother Bill, are you listening to my story? So I sent him in to get the salt shaker. And then pretty soon we got called in for dinner. And we were halfway to the house, and I remember we still had that salt shaker out there. And I said, Bill, go back out and get the salt shaker. And he's like, no, you wanted it. You used it. You go get it. I said, I'm not going out there. Go get the salt shaker. He wouldn't do it. So I said, okay. So we went in the house and sat down to eat. And Mom said, where's the salt? I can't find the salt. I said, oh, Bill took it outside and he didn't bring it back in. Well, Cheryl told me to. I said, well, he took it out and he didn't bring it back in. So he got in trouble for taking the salt shaker out. Do you remember that, Bill? I was just not nice that way. Good thing I grew up and got nicer. There we go. There's the bubble effect. And so another time, this was in Panama too. Panama seems to have been the place where a lot of this happened. We were trying to make bubbles, the kind of bubbles that you blow and they form little bubbles that float in the air. Well, I had this little how-to book, and told you how to do this, how to do that. And there was a recipe in it for bubbles. And so we went into Mom and Dad's bathroom. I don't know why we went in there. And got a bucket, put it in the bathtub, and tried to make these bubbles. Well, the bubbles wouldn't work. For some reason, we followed the recipe, but they wouldn't work. And so I was thinking of all kinds of things to get from like the laundry room where all the soapy stuff was, what we could put in them. And I said, Bill, go get the bottle of bleach. Maybe that'll help. I've gotten ornerier. I'm not ornery like that with I love my brother. We actually, as we got older, got much closer. And so I said, go get the bleach. And he did. Dutiful little brother. He went and got the bleach. And the next thing we know, we hear Mom and Dad coming in the door. Now, why were we left alone at those ages? We had a maid. We had a live-in maid in Panama, so we were not alone. But she was off doing her thing, whatever that was. And so there was no time to go put it back. So we stashed it behind the toilet and just left it there. And, pretty soon Mom found it. Want to know how the bleach got behind the toilet? I said, oh, Bill did it. Bill brought that bleach in here and, he put it behind the toilet so you wouldn't find it. So he got in trouble for that. And then there was one other Panama. Do you know the other Panama story, Lil Bill? I know you do if I start to tell it. Let's see. How am I going to get... I want to put glue on those, but they're still really, really hot because it's metal. Hi, Annie. Welcome back. So glad you came. We're making earrings. These are actually copper dangles. I've put gesso on them and heated them up so the gesso bubbled. The next thing I'm going to put on them is Distress Glaze, Tim Holtz Distress Glaze. So anyway, my dad had this tape deck. It was a really nice one made by Akai. I remember that. It was a reel-to-reel, one of those two, with those two great big reels on it. And he used to record music and stuff. And we were home alone. Oh, I do have one more after this. One more Panama. Wait, Panama is where all the stories happen. And we were looking at it. And, of course, Mom and Dad were gone again. And they were always gone. And I said, turn it on. Let's play it. So dutiful little brother turned on the tape thing and it broke the tape. So the two sides were just flapping. We're like, oh no, what do we do? We were all nervous and Dad came home and wanted to know what happened to his tape player. I said, Bill turned it on. He tried to make it play and he turned it on. He started crying. He did I think you got a spanking for that one, which to this day I feel a little bit bad about. Not horribly, but a little bit. And then the other Panama, I was a mean sister. Little mean things, but I was a mean sister. We had the live-in maid, like I told you, and she didn't speak English. My dad spoke Spanish, but she didn't speak English. And we didn't like her. Oh, we didn't like her at all. And so big sisters, I know I tortured my little brother, but it was just things like that. It wasn't like I physically beat him up or, hurt him. I was just getting him in trouble here and there. So we had this maid who we absolutely hated her. And you remember? I told him one time, Mom and Dad were gone, and I said, she doesn't speak English, so she won't know what you're saying. So, now I took Spanish in school because I was like 10 or 11 years old. And so I was learning some Spanish because I had to take it in school. Oh, yeah. So I told my brother, I said, go tell her she's stupid. She won't understand because she doesn't speak English. Go tell her she's stupid. And so my dutiful little brother went up to her and said, you're stupid. And she went off in Spanish. And Dad came home and she laid into my dad. Well, stupid in Spanish is stupido. So it's not like she didn't know what he was saying. And I guess, or at least in Panama, I don't know if it's in Spanish in general, but at least in Panama, that's a really harsh, calling somebody stupid is really bad. So she laid into my dad and little Bill got to talk about calling her stupid. That was funny. I don't think you got a spanking over that. I think Dad just told you how mean it was. I'm just waiting for this to dry down a little bit, or to cool down a little bit. So those were some of my Now, I did one time, I don't remember where this was. This might have been Panama too. Brother Bill, parents went out again, and I know, wasn't that funny? You remember how she went off as soon as you called him stupid? Oh my word. That was just a major insult for her. I'm going to do this with glue stick instead of the dauber thing. So I'm just putting some glue stick on here. I'm going to do these two at a time. I don't know what I started to say something and I don't. Oh, parents were out again and Bill was supposed to take a bath. And so, they didn't have the maid do that kind of stuff. So I ran in bath water and I said, get in the bath. You're supposed to take a bath. He said, no, I don't want to. I don't want to take a bath. I'm going to use some of this blue and some of this antique linen. And he wouldn't get in the bath. I had run the bath water. He wouldn't get in the bath. He wouldn't get in. He wouldn't get in. And so I picked that little boy up and I threw him in, clothes and all. You didn't always get a spanking. Not every time. You didn't always get a spanking. But I do admit I threw him under the bus a time or two. I'm not going to try to pick up that extra glaze. It's not worth it. So I'm just putting embossing glazes on some of the spots here. But amongst those kinds of times, we had a lot of fun times. When we lived in San Francisco, we were older. I was in high school and Bill was in junior high school. And okay, let's do those two. We can put more on if we need to. So there's the color on those. Pretty color. We lived in the Presidio, which is very close to the Golden Gate Bridge. One end of the Presidio actually you can enter down to the Golden Gate Bridge. We lived on the other side of the Presidio, but we'd get on our bicycles and go for the day we'd ride over the Golden Gate Bridge and then go down into Sausalito and hang out in Sausalito for the day. That was a lot of fun. So we did get to the point where that didn't work. That glue stick didn't work. Hang on, I got to get my dauber. I got to go get some embossing paste or embossing glue. Because that didn't work. Oh, up here somewhere, I've got an embossing pen. And we'd spend the day in Sausalito. Yes and no. We certainly got to see and do a lot of things that, I have experiences and memories that most people will, never have. And so for that, yes. But I don't really have anywhere to call home. Like we never had, if any of you have, I know I do too. Of course, and this was back in the 70s. So that's all dried out. Hang on, I got to get my embossing. Oh. Embossing thingy majigger. on. Right. So we got to do a lot of, great fun things. We've seen a lot of things, lived a lot of places, but I don't really have, I have childhood memories, but not with people. You know what I mean? I have people, how do I say it? Look, I don't have high school friends that I can stay in touch with and stuff. My brother has more of that because he my dad got out of the army and they moved to a real small town. And so his high school years, he got to kind of be in one place. So he has a little more of that than I do, that kind of settled. But that's the only thing I don't like about it, or didn't like about it, is that you just make friends and get, a good friendship base going, and then you'd have to leave. And I didn't like that. I don't know. What about you? Oh, hi, Tony. My brother's here. I'm telling family stories. So I don't know, Bill, what did you think about moving all the time? We had, well, and Bill's too little to remember a lot of it, but my father was deployed to Vietnam 3 different times. The third time, Bill was older. I was like 12, so he was like 7, 8. So he was still pretty young, but older. And when the first two deployments, he was just a baby. So it was funny because that's when we lived in Hawaii. Oh, he's driving. He can't answer me. I'll press that down into the. But my dad was gone a lot. Why is this? And I just have to put different layers. Those are looking pretty cool. But my dad was gone a lot on different training things, or certainly when he was in Vietnam. And but we sure do have a lot of fun memories. Some of them are not necessarily fun, but things we can talk about. And what's funny is that I am making a journal. I haven't worked on it in a long time, but I'm making a journal for my son of just anecdotes of things that happened in my life when I was younger that he wouldn't know about, and so that when I'm gone, he has a memory journal. So some of these stories that I've been telling here, I got to get in that memory journal. So I'm burning it. Look at that, Miss Mimi. I'm burning it. I got to get this side burned a little. There we go. All right, now just wanted to make sure I'm not leaving burn marks on my mat underneath. Oops. So this burned through a little bit of white, so I need to put some more color back on there. But look how cool that is. Wouldn't those make cool? Well, they will make. I'm going to let those cool off a little bit. Put some cold water on my ceramic. Well, the first couple of times that my dad went, I was young. I was like 5 and 6 years old because my brother had just been born. I mean, he was literally a baby, and I was like 5 or 6 years old. So I didn't really understand the gravity of it when I was really young. I can't pick these up and show you yet because they are smoking hot. I like this one the best. But look at those. Let's see, what do I have that I could use to... Look at those. Won't those make cool earrings? Now I got to get some more on here. But aren't those just cool? Oh, I forgot to do something too. I got to get my... Hang on a sec. I got to find... I don't have one here. I got to go get one. I need to round off the corners on these. I shouldn't leave them too pointy because they poke into people. I forgot about that. Grab a file real quick. And then what I'll do is take them over to my workbench and just drill holes in the top of them. So yeah, I just kind of round them off a little so they're not super pointy. This is a real fine file, so it's going to take forever to round these corners. Yeah, my dad had a couple of scares over there. He caught malaria in one of the earlier times. They didn't send him home for that. They treated him. And apparently, the story that I have always heard growing up is that, you know, he had a really bad headache from the malaria, so he started taking aspirin for it. And the story I heard was that had he not taken that aspirin, that malaria probably would have killed him. Because he was out in the... You know, I never talked to my dad much about his time in Vietnam until recently. And I have asked him recently a little bit more about it. Like, what exactly did he do in the war? And he told me, and I thought, holy cow. It's a good thing we got him back home alive. He was one of those gunners that sat, you know, when you watch the Vietnam movies and the guys are like hanging out the side of the helicopter shooting at the bad guys. Well, that's what my dad did, I guess. That's what he told me. All right, let's go back and get. And I had not realized that when I was younger. And even the third time he went, I was a preteen, not preteen. I was a teenager, but I was in junior high school, and you just don't think much of that kind of stuff. I knew he was in Vietnam, but you're busy having your teenage lifestyle. You don't think a whole lot about that. Let's doctor that one up. Fix that one. And then we'll do two more. Get a street. All my pins. Paper. You don't really think about that stuff, even though it was on the TV every night. And okay. Ouch. It's still all goopy. I'm going to see if I can get a little more of the dark brown on this one. Because that other one has a lot of all right. There's those two now. Oh, so I'll just drill a hole in them. I will sand the backs of them so they're nice and clean on the back. I'll spray a sealant on them and they'll be done. All right, let's do these. Has anybody else come in? I haven't been watching. Okay, you guys, help me pick some colors here. I've got fired brick. I've got pistachio, vintage photo, weathered wood, hickory smoke, fossilized amber, tattered rose, rusty hinge, antique linen. I've got this broken china, which was pretty, walnut stain, and peeled paint. So you guys help me pick out. And I probably will put more heat on this side to try to blend the colors, kind of like it is there, or maybe put a little more antique linen. I'll probably heat this one again. But what color should we use? Pick a couple of colors, you guys. 2 or 3 colors to put on here. What do you think? Cheryl, Crafty Shamrock? You work with these a lot. What 2 colors should I put on here? 2 or 3? We're going into fall, so how about some Rusty Hinge? What did I do with that Rusty Hinge? I thought it was right down here. That's fired brick. Rusty Hinge. Pink and brown. Okay, so the tattered rose. Okay. There's some tattered rose. These just don't want to twist on here very easily. And then for brown, I've got, well, Rusty Hinge is more of a rust. For brown, I've got Walnut Stain and Vintage Photo. Rusty Hinge with it, okay. I can do that. I have hardly used these, and I've been wanting to use them. And this will help me also to get ready for my show. So I'm kind of grateful for that. Okay, I'll put a little more of the rose on there. Okay, there it is. Let's put a little more of that on. And these are not going to come out like you think they're going to come out. It's not going to be, the colors will kind of meld together. That's the nice thing about this, is that you just never know how they're going to come out. Okay, and I do want a little bit more antique linen on this one. Because I'm going to do some melting on that one as well. I suppose I could get them all ready and just melt them all at once, but that's a lot of heat. I want the ceramic to kind of cool down in between. Got to have enough that it actually shows. And then those have to sit for a long time before they're not. Oh, that one's not sticky. Takes a while for them to dry. And then once they're done, I can decide what I want as up, the top of them, and what I want at the bottom, depending on how they come out, because I still have to drill the holes in them. All right, let's get this off of the tiles. Melt that onto the tile. All right. And then let's all right. Let's melt those babies. Well, I can do another one. I can do another one with brown meaning. I've got plenty here. And Rusty Hinge is a shade of brown. I just took the first. All right. Well, let's do one color at a time because the top color, that stuff dried, and so the rose isn't really showing up as tattered rose. That's interesting. But those actually came out pretty cool. I might leave them just like they are. It's not pink, definitely. But look at that. Hi, Tammy. Look at those. Aren't those cool? Now, you guys tell me, should I put another color on with them or just leave them like this? Look at that. Leave them like that or add more color? I'm going to take a sip of tea while you guys tell me. More color or leave? My fan grabbed them. Leave them? Yeah, I think leave them. I think they're really cool. And now let's try. In fact, you know what I might do? Is put them on here. When I put my stuff on them. How about you want to try another just tattered rose, and then we could add a color on top of that? Should we try that? Let's try just that's antique linen. Here's tattered rose. They give a fallish vibe. I know, they really do. So let's put a good bit of I could get out my regular embossing powders too. I just like using these. Let's put a lot of this tattered rose on. And then we can pick another color to put on top of that. What's the substrate? Oh, thank you for helping me. So the substrate is copper, and I have a whole. When I make my night lights, I get all these offcuts of copper. And so I make earrings out of them. I was going to do alcohol ink earrings today, but I decided to do this instead. Sometimes I put alcohol ink on them. Sometimes I don't know. I do all different things with them. So the substrate is copper. I then clean them with alcohol. I rub them down with alcohol. And, the backs of them still are messy, but we'll, oh, you know what I didn't do with this? I didn't round the edges again. I usually go through and do that all at once. So by the time I get to this point, I don't have to worry about it. But I do what I'm going to do. Sometimes I drill the holes ahead of time, and I would have done that here, but I just didn't have time by the time I thought of doing this. And so on these particular ones, I put down a layer, 2 layers of gesso, and then I heated it so that it, man, you can't, hang on, I'm looking for different techniques here. Family, yes, prayers, Tammy. I put down a layer of gesso. Sometimes I don't put anything on it. I just do what I'm going to do. So I think what I'm going to do here is just keep adding once this starts melting, because it will stick to the melted. Yeah, this is not a rose color. This is more of a brown. Maybe because it's on copper, maybe because I put the gesso under it. Who knows? It's all just experimenting. All right, so here is, oh, well, I'm putting antique linen on it. No wonder. This is not the tattered rose. Hang on. I was going to say, that's not pink at all. Oh, yeah, I love copper too. Let's make these over because they're getting kind of hot. Tattered rose. There it is. Let's put that on the top now. And see what we get with that. It's just experiment, just play, see what happens. Oh, now that's pretty. That rose is turning a little pink in there. Sometimes I will enamel on these copper earrings. Yeah, I'll do another pair with just pink. Okay, so now let's see what other, it needs something else. It needs a pop of something. How about some fired brick? Haven't even opened this one. Oh, I am going to make some of those, and I'm going to do it online, so you can pick the fabric that you want. The fabric inlay, you mean? That's another one. I'm completely out of those. And I just sold my last 2 at the store in Durham, so I need to buy some more or make some more of those. Holy cow, those are pretty. And also very fall looking. Look at those. Aren't those pretty? But you know what I think it needs? I think we need Yeah, I can. Well, I don't have any more, so I have to make. I'm going to put some gesso on top of this. It's got too much water in it. I just want little. Little bits of gesso. I don't know what this is going to do. I've never tried putting the gesso on top, but let's try it. That's what we're about this year, right? Experimenting. Oh, when that glaze is melting, it's moving the gesso around. That's pretty cool. Come on. That gesso's floating around on top of that glaze. That is too cool. Now, what I want to do is find what I'm looking for is like a piece of I'm looking for a piece of paper that I can smush down in there. I'm not sure if I like that or if I need another layer of, I think I need another light layer of maybe antique linen. Or maybe the fire red to make it stand out a little more. Hang on. I'll put some more of this down so it stays. I know I need picket fence. That's one I don't have. Okay. That's got just a little bit of red over it, so it should give it and that's the thing. It's just layers upon layers upon layers, whatever you think goes. You want to change it up. That one had a little bubble up there. All right. Let's Oh, I like this a lot better now. I like them a lot better. You can still kind of see the white, but it's not. Look at those. Almost looks like flowers on there, doesn't it? I like it a lot. So here's what we have so far. That's what we have so far. Let's do another one. I know. I love these too. So your glazes and stuff can really go a lot farther than you think. Let's see. Here is weathered wood. How about doing something with weathered wood and hey Pam. Ooh, let's do weathered wood and hickory smoke. How about that? And we'll put weathered wood as a pretty solid base and then put the okay, Annie, well, you can come back and watch the replay if you're interested in it. Oh, I've got some little red speckles in there from when I did the last one, but that won't hurt. It's just little speckles. All right, let's put down weathered wood first. Yes, Annie, have a wonderful day. And thanks for coming in. Make sure you give a thumbs up if you would. The thing I like about these is that they're transparent. So whatever you put like over the top of them will kind of show through. All right. Let's do this first. All right, now let's go in. All right. So there's that layer. And I don't know, should I put hickory smoke on this or something else? Let's try. Hickory smoke was my first thought, so let's try it. If we want to put more color, we certainly can do that. It's kind of like enameling. Okay, you know what I think I need to do on this one? I think I need to like burn it just a little bit. Okay, definitely need something more. So let's see what else we need to put on these. Okay, that's where we're at so far. A little too dark. How about if we put some cracked pistachio on? Kind of heavily down one side, and it's already melting into there. Let's see what that does. It's giving some cool detail, but it's all still really dark. So I think I need to do some gesso on here. All right, let's brighten these babies up a little bit. So like, look at that. You can see the green in there. It's got a nice base on it, but we definitely need gesso. Definitely need some gesso. Now, should I put the gesso, I think just kind of in blobs, and then let it kind of burn down into the Okay, I'll try this little trick. All right, let's see what that does. I have no clue, but we'll find out. I we could swirl it on. What I'm hoping is maybe burn off some of the places so that burn off some of the gesso so that the embossing powder comes through. And I may have to help it a little bit. Oh, now that's cool. So this embossing powder, the gesso sort of sits on top of the embossing powder. But if I can take away some of it, now that one's kind of cool. Let's see if we can do something similar over here. Now you can see where I'm burning the paper. Ow, it's hot. It's hot. And these left sort of like little, how did I do that? One is shorter than the other. Somehow I picked up one of the longer pieces. So I'll have to cut that one off. I'll have to cut it off. But look at those. Aren't those cool? Bye, Tony. Aren't those cool? Somehow I got a smaller one in there. Those are really cool. Now when they dry, those are really cool. All right, let's go back to I had one other smaller one here. That's funny. Let's go back and do some more. I know, aren't these fun? And they're just so different. They're all going to turn out a little bit different. I'm going to do some of my favorite colors, which are Vintage Photo and Blue. I need to get more of these colors. Whoops. Okay, let's just do Vintage Photo on here. Just sort of sprinkle it around. And then I am going to put the blue on top of that. And then maybe, let's leave it at that. And let's put those on there. I keep forgetting to file down the edges. I'll do that after I'm all done. Look at those. Aren't those just gorgeous? I don't know that I'd do another thing to them. I think I'd just leave them the way they are. Maybe a little bit more blue. Maybe. Firebrick. This goes on here. Oh, I've got 2 minutes left. Let's finish up this one with a little bit more blue. And then we'll call it a day. We'll look at the ones we finished. I'm going to do a little more concentrated blue there and a little more concentrated brown right there. All right, let's heat that up and then we'll call it a day. All right, ma'ams. So there's those, the blue and brown. So these are all kind of fall colors, aren't they? I didn't do anything with the yellow. I need to do that. But there's those. And then these are, look at how cool these came out. These have texture. Oh my gosh, these came out great. Yeah, let me show you all of these. Now I'm thinking we need to do something a little more with that one, and I may. But here's what we did, folks. I got to cut this one down a little. I'll cut it off of that end. But those, I can't get my hand turned. There's the ones that we made. Look at those. And I love how this turned out, putting down the white gesso and the red on it. Doesn't that look like those are little flowers? Oh my word. I know. I really like them too. And this one, I thought when I did the weathered wood and the hickory smoke, I thought I messed it up. But after playing with it, putting more gesso on the top, I love them. I just got to cut that one down. Oh my word, y'all. I am. And then I can make some pendants and string them on like leather cord or waxed cotton cord. Ow. So that I can have a lot of matching so let me get these laid out. So let's put those there. Got to get him set up for the picture for the thumbnail. All right, you guys, there they are in all their splendor. Those will be, and I will seal those. Those will be for sale in my upcoming show. Yeah, yeah, these, I know, aren't those cool? I got to do more. That's a technique I got to do more of. And I got it. Maybe I'll do some on this one because these are kind of plain. And maybe that's okay that they're plain, but I don't know. I want to put something a little more on them. So, anywho, there are the earrings that I just need to sit here a little bit. Thank you all so much for joining me. I will be probably next week. I will do the fabric inserts and the copper bracelets. I'm going to be doing a lot of jewelry stuff the next couple of weeks, so I probably won't do paper stuff for a little while, just because I got to get ready for this show. But I love them all. I think they turned out awesome, and I've got a whole box of those copper pieces, so I'll be making more of those. All right, everybody. Oh, yes. There's some very horrible. Oh, is it okay now? Maybe when I move the camera down. Yes, let's prayers and hugs to Mimi for her eye surgery. Prayers and hugs to Big Mama for getting over the flu. And then who else? I can do those pretty easily. Tammy, what's going on with Tammy? Darken the edges, maybe. I could do that. It's not as easy with. I mean, I can do it on the side where the copper is pretty easy because I can dunk these in liver of sulfur, but I'd have to have a little wider, I think, because if I put stuff on it, I'll have to play with that, darkening the edges. Lots to experiment with and play with. There are just so many ideas. These are just my initial, play, and I love them. I think they turned out great. All right, everybody, have a wonderful, wonderful day, a wonderful week. Family health struggles, okay, TUB. We are sending out hugs and prayers for just family in general. All right, everybody, I will see you. Thumbs up if you haven't, please, and I will see you next